Hello, I'm Mr. Post, and we're going to be talking about government today. We're going to be talking about the first chapter of the government textbook and what it means to be an American citizen. So, without further ado, I'm going to present my screen, and then you guys can follow along. Here we go. All right, present. All right, chapter 1, We the People, Civics. What does that actually mean? Well, who are the people? Where are they from? What makes someone one of the people? That's a good question. So, where are we from? Well, we're from the United States, right? What makes us one of the people? Well, there's a lot of criteria. If you're born here, you're one of the people. If you are a naturalized citizen, which means that you've taken a test and become a citizen in this country, you're one of the people. And those people are citizens who get to vote in different types of elections. A citizen is a member of a nation, and civics is Latin for citizen. So we are essentially we're members of a nation, and that nation is the United States of America. So what is a government? So the government has the power that is given to them by the people to rule them, and it looks different in a lot of different countries. We are actually one of the oldest democracies. We're a republic, where we're a democracy where we give the power, we vote people into office, and we give them the power to make decisions for us on the behalf of us, and they have to answer to us. The nation is based on certain ideals. For example, it's two ideas really, is that we are free to be able to make our own choices, and that everybody should be equal in the eyes of the law. Our freedom is not eternal. What does that mean? What do people do to protect their rights? How can you protect your rights? It's a good question. You can vote. Biggest way to protect your rights is to vote. There's other ways you can do that. You can protest. We've seen a lot of those in the news lately. You can write your senator or congressman or representative in your state or federal assemblies or Congress. You can do a lot of things like petition. If you do a petition, it means you're trying to get something done. And let's say that you want to make it so that people from that are here illegally have to pay taxes. I'm not sure how you do that, but that's what you want to do. So you can petition, and if you get so many people signed on that petition, it may be able to be something that changes. Now, I'm not sure exactly, like there's other ways to petition, there's other things to petition, but that's just an example. So other ways that citizens can be a leader and help mold our country and how it shapes is, one, you can vote, easiest way. Join a political party. There's lots of different political parties. You can volunteer. You can write your congressman, like I said before, or you can demonstrate, like petition, or go out and march, or do sit-ins, or do ride-alongs, or like do those freedom riders did, and ride the buses to the Mason-Dixon line, and not give up their seat. These are all things that can create change. We're just going back one. Another demonstration is kneeling during the national anthem. I know that's kind of a controversial topic, but that is a way to demonstrate, and it's peaceful, and it causes people to take notice. So obviously, it's a effective one. Maybe you don't agree with it, maybe you do, but the point being is that those are ways to demonstrate, and it's even though I don't really like that there's a lot of turmoil in our country right now. Without turmoil, there isn't change. So if people believe that something needs to be changed, that's when they demonstrate. And you see that throughout our country, that there's demonstrations all the time. So this is just for you at home. Please list 8 things that make a good citizen, what you believe is a good citizen. Just burst that on a piece of paper. That's not an assignment. That's just going to be a discussion we have next time we meet. Who are the only 100% true Americans? Well, are the people that were here first and didn't come from Europe and didn't come from Asia, didn't come from somewhere other than here in the United States. Who are those people? They're the Native Americans. What are the people called who come to live in this country out from outside the United States? They're called immigrants. And at one point, our ancestors, most people's ancestors, came from another country, either by choice or by force. The first inhabitants were the Native Americans, then the Vikings, then the Spanish, then the English, who brought the first African Americans by means of slavery, then the French, and then etc. We have a very diverse country. The difference in our cultures and backgrounds without the United States, we are the most diverse nation on earth. We have the most different types of minorities. We pride ourselves on that we are the most diverse nation. But it also creates a lot of turmoil. It makes it so that there's a lot of unhappy people because it's very difficult to make everybody happy. However, the reason why that we do have such a diverse nation is because we don't do things like discriminate because of religion, even though sometimes that does happen. But like in a perfect world, the Constitution says we should not be discriminating people against. They have the freedom of the religion. They have the freedom to speech, the freedom of press. These very fundamental concepts that some countries do not have. And so a lot of people came to this country for either refuge because they were being discriminated against because of the religion, like people who were Jewish during the Holocaust era, or people who were Muslim that were being discriminated, like were being attacked and killed during this Serbian-Bosnian civil war. And there's people who are coming to find a better life. And the reason why America was so called the land of opportunity was because in Europe, there wasn't much land to own. And you can come to the United States and literally just go put your stake in the ground in Oklahoma, for instance, and get a piece of land for free. This is such a new concept that there was land they were just giving away. And so a lot of people came here for the idea of working and making a living and getting a piece of land that they can call their own and living what's the American dream. So we're the most diverse nation because we are the land of opportunity, but it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost that there is a lot of diversity and a lot of different issues and it's hard for people who are different to get along. But somehow, I hope that we can figure out a nice equilibrium at some point where everybody can get along and accept one another's differences and celebrate them. Why do people come to the United States? Well, I think I talked about that for a little bit already. They come because it's the land of opportunity. It's the land that allows people to maybe get the American dream. Because of religious persecution, or because of a civil war, or because of a war, or because they see the idea that they wouldn't be able to go to school or college somewhere else, like somewhere in China or India. Maybe they're being persecuted because they're a woman and they're not getting the same rights in some countries. We, under the eyes of the law, we try to be equal. Now, that doesn't always happen. I'm not going to lie about that. But in a perfect world, and we always are striving for that perfection, then it has the opportunity to. Now, in some countries, they don't even have that ability to grow to to strive for that perfection. Why did our government want so many people to come to America? Well, during the Industrial Revolution, there was a huge push for new immigrants to come to America because there was jobs. They needed to fill the jobs. And America kept growing. We kept getting land, and we needed people to move in so that they could actually inhabit it and govern it and grow as a country. Now, the problem is that we don't allow everybody to come into this country. There's a limit on the number of people who can come to America. The current limit each year is 675,000 people, which isn't very many. There's a lot of people that are trying to this country, and oftentimes a lot of people come to this country illegally. And the reason why this is such a huge issue is because people are afraid that their jobs are going to be taken, that there's bad people coming across the border to hurt them. And there are people that are trying to change the way of their lives. And the thing that I can tell you about people who are coming here illegally is that, yes, sometimes they do find jobs here. And yes, they do bring their culture, and that may mean that there's things that are going to change. And yes, that there are sometimes bad people that come across this border. But that's not just people. There's some people that are coming across this border that are coming here they're legal, and there's people that have been here for a long time. Their families have been here for a long time that are bad people. So you can't cut off all immigration because there's the possibility of bad people coming in. That's not what that's not what we were all about. That's not how our country was founded on. So when there's a current limit of people, the reason why that is because there is a big push to limit immigration. So there wasn't so many people just coming in and basically filling our borders so that we could control it a little bit. Now, there are people who are called refugees. These are people fleeing their homelands that fear persecution by their governments. Now, this is important because this does not count towards that 675,000 people. These are the people that are possibly being persecuted because they're Jewish or Muslim or different or Catholic, who knows, and just different. And that our country accepts those people into our country because we were founded on the people who were leaving Europe to be able to practice their religion without persecution. It's one of our founding principles. How to be a citizen? Born here. Boom. Become a naturalized citizen, which is a process in which you have to take a test, you have to take classes, you have to be sworn in, and we'll get to more of that later. There are two types of aliens. There are people that are legal and illegal. The people who are illegal are the people who are on a visa or coming to visit just to a passport. There's different types of visas. There's work visas. There's student visas. There's two different types of student visas, actually. And those are the people who are studying at college, and then they may go after they're done, or they may renew their visa to be a work visa. If they're an essential worker, a lot of times they'll get a work visa. I have a couple of friends who are on work visas right now. They stopped going to college, they graduated, they got their degree, and they got a job that was that they own, that there's very few people that could do. And so they reapplied for a work visa and they were approved, and now they're living here under a work visa. They're still an alien though. They are not a citizen. Just recently, one of my friends became a dual citizen, one in Bosnia and one in America. And so he can vote in both elections if necessary. And he also could go live there in both the United States and also Bosnia. So that's something to keep in mind. So the naturalization process is the declaration of intent, petition for naturalization, take the citizenship test, and final hearing and take an oath. So those are the steps. Section 3, the American people today. How do we know how many people live in America? Well, that's happening right now. We're taking a census, which is counting how many people are actually here. Not how many people here legally, how many people are here total. And that's important because we need to know where everybody is, and so we can provide services and appropriate services for those states, those cities, those towns, and so on and so forth. What does the census tell us? Well, it tells us how many people, how many of the different demographics. Like I just took the census a couple months ago. It asked me what gender, how many kids do I have? What gender are they? What nationality are they? How old they are? And also with my wife, they asked what her demographic was. And these are all important because it shows us the breakdown of how diverse our country really is and what minorities are growing. What is the majority? Like white is the majority, but we are becoming what's called a minority majority country, which means that there's more of a group of minorities than there are just the one majority, which wasn't the case at one point. We were a majority of white population. Now with the influx of different minorities coming into our country, there is a huge influx of minorities, and there may be more minorities all grouped together than there are people who are Caucasian. How does the population grow? Well, several ways. People are born. We add territories, natural increase, like people are born. So we add territories such as when we got Alaska or Hawaii. Those are new states, not about 100 years ago, but those are new states. And those states then bring people, and we grow naturally. A natural increase, people are born. There's a joke that because of this COVID quarantine, we're going to see a huge influx of babies in the next 9 months. Actually, we have several friends who are pregnant because they were inside a lot. In immigration, people coming from another country for whatever reason. Population statistics. So population growth slowing. Most people live in metropolitan areas, and people have migrated to the south and west into what's called the Sun Belt. These are all important statistics because we found out that essentially, like, people are moving for their jobs, but they also are noticing that where they're moving, what states they're moving to. And the reason why this is important is because they get what's called seats in Congress, such as in the House of Representatives is based on population. So if, say, Arizona gains so many more people that came from places like Illinois and Pennsylvania, Illinois may lose a seat in the House and become less powerful of a state because they have less representatives that are choosing things for our country. So whites are the largest segment of population as far as we know, because the census is still ongoing. African Americans make up the largest, used to make up the largest minority group, but not anymore. Hispanics are now the largest. and Asians are the fastest growing minority. And that is it for this chapter. So let me take you off screen share. All right, so please, again, watch it. If you need to rewatch this presentation, that is fine. I will post this on Google Classroom so you can play it whenever you want. We will be meeting throughout the week, and you have your presidential project due on Wednesday. And remember that we will have. I'm also going to be assigning what political party assignment you are. You have to take a quiz to find out what political party you actually are. And it's really interesting because some people don't really know what issues are important to them. So that actually is and that's going to be your second assignment. It's due on Friday by noon. So watch the presentation and finish your assignments. And I will see you either on Tuesday or Wednesday via Google Meets. Have a nice day.